Stick around. It's going to be a wonderful conversation for the next hour. Please feel free to put any questions or comments.
A lot of feedback coming through.
Hey,
I think some people
there we go. Yeah, Tim, I'm just going to mute you.
It's your realty announcements.
So I am going to introduce these agents behind me. Please put all your questions and comments in the chat. For the presenters on the stage, just a quick advice for housekeeping. With 5 of you up here and the conversation is going to get going, please make sure that you are muting yourself when others are talking. Sometimes it just helps with the feedback. Quick tip is if you do close your mic and you're using your keyboard and you want to talk, if you just press the number 1, it opens up your microphone. And again, so thank you for being here. So behind me, we have Ariel Vargas from Florida, Christine Andresen from Washington, Mike Nelson from Colorado, Natalia Zamidi from Ontario, Canada, and our moderator is Tim Feibig from California. Please give you a round of applause, and you can take it away, Tim, and I'm here to assist you in any way that you need for the next hour.
Good morning, and thank you for being here. This is going to be a great topic today. We're going to focus on what the icons are doing to become icons, and then what they do to generate leads and sell real estate in a changing market. So, first of all, Christine, can you tell us how you became an icon and what you did to make that happen, and how long it took you?
Well, sure. Hello, everybody. I'm Christine Andresen. I'm in Seattle. I run a team here for all of Western Washington with 12 agents. So we cover all of Western Washington. And I've been in real estate for quite a while. So I've been in real estate for 20 years, was with another company that we all know and love, KW, before I jumped over to EXP 3 years ago. And I pretty much had set up my business to be a referral business. So most of my business comes from referrals from past clients. And I do a whole bunch of touches through the year with them. I do events, I do pop buys, I do a VIP gift list. So I have social media. I do a lot of things to really stay in touch with the clients that I work with so that I can have one client be a client for life and refer me to all their friends and family versus having to go get new clients again and again and again and again. So that's one of my favorite things to do, and I'm happy to go into more detail as we get going today.
Mike, do you want to tell us a little bit about your business and how you became an icon, what you did, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. We were about 10 years in the business, second career guy after military service and some Fortune 500 service. We moved over within the last year. We're right at 1 year. It took us about 10 months to hit the mega team status. So I would say that's probably about our icon status. We are heavily based on internet leads and our sphere of influence. So I can talk a little bit about both of those. And as the market shifts, we continue to shift more towards that SOI and lean a little less heavily on the internet leads.
Okay, thank you, Mike. How about Natalia? Natalia, can you answer the same question?
Sure. Hi, everyone. Excited to be here today. So I would say I run my business.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Tim, can you mute yourself when other agents are talking? Sorry, there's just some feedback. Thank you. Go ahead, Natalia.
That's okay. I run my business similar to Christine's, and that it's a lot about building relationships. That's been the foundation of my business. So, a lot of repeat and referral, getting very involved in the community. I also run our local farmers market. So you can find me there every Sunday from May to October. So it's really about getting involved in the community and keeping those relationships with my clients, and then obviously building new. I do recently, I pay for online leads now, but this is like a new aspect of my business. So we'll see how that goes. But I that's how I run my business, repeat and referral.
Ariel, can you fill us in on what you do?
Hi, how are you guys? My name is Ariel Vargas. I'm from Orlando, Florida, although I was born and raised in Havana, Cuba. I have been doing real estate sales for about 10 years. I do have a mega icon team over here in the city beautiful of Orlando. Right now, all of my business and what I teach others to do is just to concentrate on four steps to get business, which is relationships, a lot of talking. We we do a lot of talking to get business, and a lot of our talking turns into sales. So definitely having strong relationships with your friends, family, even past clients, current clients, people you do business with, or that you pay for services for. They should, obviously pay it forward and give you business as well. So number one, a lot of blah 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 blah, a lot of talking to build those relationships. Number two, open houses, a lot of open houses. Number three, online lead generation, and number four, stay on top of your social media and stay engaged with people on your social media. So those are the four steps that I teach, and as long as agents in the market do that, they'll do very well. That's what I did my first 3 to 4 years, and I concentrated on that. Right now, most of my business is referral based, and any new business I share with my team members.
Great. Ariel, why don't we stay with you? How do you time block your day and time, and what's your day look like?
So my day starts at 6 a.m. in the morning. Between 6 and 8 in the morning, I'm doing a lot of social media stuff, either putting out content or preparing content that I would do the next day. I have an office. I have a branch, an EXP branch, a registered EXP branch. So I get to the office around 8:30, 9 o'clock. And from there on out, I'm either helping agent partners that are part of my team or my downline, or I'm scheduling some showings for the afternoon or the late evening for some clients. That's usually what I do between 9 and I would say 12, 1 o'clock. Then I head out obviously to lunch, and then come back and work a little bit more on the business. But I'm usually very occupied, and I do have dates where I interview agents to bring into EXP. I have dates where I concentrate on content. I have a studio within the office. So yeah, time blocking is important to me, and using my calendar is important to me. I think if you don't get on my calendar, it will be very hard for me to serve you properly. So that's kind of like what my day looks like in terms of time blocking.
Okay, over to Christine. Can you answer that same question?
Are you saying me, Christine?
Yes, Christine.
Oh, yeah. What does my day look like? Yeah, so I also get up around 6. I start with my miracle morning. I have a practice in the morning of meditating and journaling and really getting my mind straight before I look at that cell phone and am totally dominated by it for the rest of the day. So I start that way. And then I also have a huddle call at 8 a.m. every morning. That is a mastermind with my team, Monday through Friday, just a half hour on Zoom. And it's open to anybody that ever wants to join us. So it's also a great way for agent attraction. People jump on and mastermind with us Monday through Friday, 8 to 8:30. And then I too, much like was just said, I am very, you put an appointment in my calendar, everybody's got a link to my Calendly, and that's how they get me, is they book something with me. So usually my day is spent much more training my team and being available to my team and supporting my team than it is actually doing transactions. So that's usually what my day looks like, is I'm available to all of the people that I am committed to empowering, whether they're in my EXP organization or whether they're directly on my team. And I also make sure that I have probably 1 to 2 reach outs and interviews or talking with people about coming over to EXP every day.
Mike, can you tell us what your day looks like as well?
Absolutely. I think Christine and I are right at a spitting image of our business model. So while I don't read the Miracle Morning, I do wake up around 6, and I make it about me time, because the rest of the day is about everybody else. And I know you've got to pour into yourself before you can pour into others. So I start my morning with a positive video type podcast, whether that's Ed Milet, things of that nature, kind of get my cup of coffee, my water, Then I begin my day with a huddle with the team, similar to Christine at 8 a.m. every day. And then my schedule is, I think the message you hear from everybody here is their schedules and calendars are very intentional, 100% intentional. You don't get into the schedule unless you're given permission to get into the schedule, if you will. So I say no a lot to my schedule and people trying to get into it because that's just the way I run my business. And then in the evenings, I wind down. It's not watching TV. It's not any of that stuff. It's just kind of me time. It could be reading a book. It could be any myriad of things, just visiting with the family, whatnot. So.
Thank you, Mike. Natalia, can you fill us in on yours?
Sure. So my day starts the night before. So I'm very intentional on, setting up or having a look at my calendar for the next day so that I can be mentally, emotionally prepared for what I need to do. But my day usually starts about 6:30 in the morning. I usually will have my morning exercise, and then I'll have my morning prayer. And then I like to spend some time, I would agree with, I didn't see his name, but the one that was just before me, I'm the same. And then I take my time in the morning because I feel like the rest of the day is so very busy. So I like to have my morning coffee, listen to a podcast, and then I usually work on a puzzle. That's just kind of how I start my day. And my day usually will actually start, I will turn my phone on at 9 a.m. I'll take it off silent and I will start my day. So, and that's, it's full of appointments and meetings and phone calls, and, every day is different. So, and then in the evening, I'm the same in that I'm not watching TV. I'm usually spending time with my family. My day.
Perfect. And then why don't we stay with you, Natalia? What is your secret sauce? Maybe what's the most effective thing that produces income to your team or yourself?
Really good question. I think it's just being myself. I'm never pretentious. What you see is what you get. I'm very active on social, and like I mentioned before, I'm very intentional on relationships because that's what this business is. We're meeting people and we're meeting them at either, the worst or the best time in their life and everything in between. So just being real and compassionate, I just think is so important. So I don't know if I have any one secret sauce other than I honestly love what I do. And I think that translates into everything that I do. And I'm definitely self-motivated. So I think that's really, really key in this business is, nobody's calling you in the morning to get you up to get to work. You need to want it. It needs to be a driving force. I'm on my 8th year in real estate, and I can honestly say I'm still excited to get up in the morning and get to work. So I think that's a big part of my success. And systems, definitely systems.
Love it. Excited to get up in systems. That's great. Okay, let's see. How about if we go to, it was Mike. Mike, would you answer that question? Secret sauce.
Sure.
And what gets you the most, perhaps, income to your team or yourself?
Sure, absolutely. And much like Natalia, but I won't repeat that, is the intentionality and the authenticity. You want to work with people that are that you just vibe with, right, and connect with. But I'm going to go more into the additional lanes or verticals of income opportunities. So as we've reached certain production levels, I'm kind of a visionary, so I get distracted easily, and I'm always looking at some next great recipes or next great things. So I'm very, very much into joint ventures, some other things like that. Obviously, the agent attraction and the rev share is a huge component of that. And I think the last thing I would say is my secret sauce is simplicity. I think we overcomplicate things, and as our businesses get bigger, I think we have 16 or 17 real estate agent partners on the team. 8 to 10 staff and contractors. It can get complex and you can get really burdened down after a while. So it's about simplifying. If you want agent partners on your team, or you're a new agent, or you're a seasoned agent, it's really about getting into simplicity. I think that's what the leadership call was about on social media was we overcomplicate it and then we don't take any action at all. So my challenge to everybody is, how do you simplify and become effective through intentionality?
Thank you, Mike. I like that. Keep it simple. Awesome. Let's see. Let's go to Christine. Would you fill us in on that question as well?
Secret sauce. I think it's 100% mindset. 100% mindset, which everybody's saying, right? And pointing to. But, you know, especially for me leading a team, I always stay empowered. I always make sure that I'm empowered and staying in the world of possibility, even when things happen like, you know, everybody gets the market's shifting and everybody thinks the sky is falling. It's my job to really stay in the world of reality and everybody grounded, and people are buying houses no matter what. You know, I got into real estate sales. I was a keynote speaker first for 10 years, but I got into sales in 2009. So I came into a shifting market. So for me, I just have to keep reminding them that everything's perfect, everything's great. Here's how we're going to win this game. And it really is. And that's my morning. You know, my morning is getting my mindset right before I open my mouth to anybody. And that is what really keeps my team empowered. That's what keeps me empowered. And that's what keeps our business booming.
Great. Love that morning mindset. Awesome. Ariel, would you comment on that question? Do you need me to repeat it?
No, I got it. Secret sauce. Everyone's answer was so amazing. I really enjoy the answers. For me, income or money is a result of serving others. So I would say my secret sauce is serving others. That's my mantra. That's on my mission statement, my vision for the team. Whether it's agents, buyers, sellers, if you give it your all with a serving heart, income or money will be a result of doing that. That would be I would say what my secret sauce looks like.
I like that. That's great. Income and money as a result of serving others. So cool. Let's see, what's next? How much time do you spend on lead generation, and what portion of your budget goes toward that? You know, and maybe some are mega teams. Maybe think, you know, as a team, you know, I spend X percent or X dollars, but, you know, also think maybe as an agent, and when I was an agent, I was coming up, you know, I devoted this much, or this is what I did toward marketing and advertising and budgeting. Can you start us off, Ariel?
I definitely can. So when I started as a new agent about 10 years ago, that was the biggest struggle, right? How much marketing dollars should I be putting in? Because no one could really tell me. And I had someone sit down with me and said, listen, right now, you need to be able to live with, in that case, he told me, in this gentleman actually told me 80% of your income. So he said 10% to God, 10% for marketing, and 80% for you. So I started doing that, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna take you up on that, and I started doing that. And every time I did a sale, 10% of the income that I generated from that sale, I put it back into marketing, and obviously 10% to God and 80% to me. So I have continued to do that even as a Mega Icon team leader. 10% of the income received, we employ it back into marketing. So it fluctuates, right? So it could be different this month than it is the next month, and so forth. But it's very, very intentional. So that would be how I put marketing dollars to work to generate new business.
Christine, can you tell us about how you do that as well?
Yeah, sorry. Can you just say the question again? I know we're talking about marketing budget, but you said something else as well, and I forgot what it was.
Yeah, marketing budget now as a mega team, and before, maybe as when you were just an agent coming up, for the people in the audience that are just newer agents.
That's right. And I think you said lead gen too. That's what I was thinking. So
yes.
Yeah, so it's an interesting game, because I am now somebody who is focused more on agent attraction, and then I have the agents on my team that are focused on house sales. So we have two different budgets. We have budgets for all of the different lead gen, which is literally web leads, and I think you really do have to look for yourself what makes you comfortable, what you could afford and what really works. And little by little, for example, we started off with maybe only 2 or 3 zip codes in realtor.com, and every year, if we're doing better, I'll buy one more. So I'll up my lead gen up my leads every single year as the team grows and as the team gets more profitable. And I'm very while I don't keep it into a particular percentage, I do play red light, yellow light, green light. I do look at it every quarter with my director of operations and see what the ROI is. If we've been working with, I don't know, a particular zip code at realtor.com for a year and there's nothing that's really making it look like it's worth keeping, we'll turn it off. Maybe we'll turn that one off and turn something else on. Maybe we'll go to OpCity instead of buying leads from realtor.com, or we'll go to all of the places where you just pay a referral fee, like Agent Pronto, etc. And we'll up those leads and turn off the ones that aren't working. And then the other thing I do is I really do have my team focus on their lead generation every single day. In the morning, every morning on WhatsApp, all of my team says, here's 5 things I'm going to do today that will propel my business in the direction I want to go. Green activities, money-making activities. And they usually have somewhere from 3 to 6 hours of lead gen, depending on how busy or new they are. If they're new, they could be doing evening lead gen and morning lead gen. If they're more senior and they have a bunch of clients that they're working with already, it will be less time on lead gen. But they may do 2 hours of calling our leads, and then they may do 2 hours of open houses, and then they may do an hour of a networking event. So I really do train them in having all different types of lead gen so that they can do a good solid day's worth of work without making themselves crazy just sitting on the phones. So, and then my lead gen obviously is I'm always working with agents from other brokerages and looking to really share the opportunity that EXP is with other agents. And I probably do that 2 hours a day. If I'm not interviewing people, then I'm setting up, 33 touches for them, and I'm reaching out to them, and I'm getting on social media, I'm interacting with them. Other agents, you can get on, for anybody that wants to do that game, you could get on all of those different real estate chats or real estate Facebook pages and just start interacting with people. Don't go solicit them, but just start interacting with them, because they'll start calling you and asking you questions, and that's how you get people to come on over. Come on over. There you go.
Thank you, Christine. Appreciate that. Mike, would you take it from here?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we started in real estate 10 years ago as a single independent agent, I was heavy into social media. We just took a free strategy. I mean, where else can you touch 6,000, 4,000, 3,000, 10,000 people with just posts? Now you've got to grow it. You've got to grow your audience. You got to invite friends of friends of friends. There's some risks with some of that. You want to make sure you know the people you're bringing over, because there's some weirdos out there, right? So there's a lot of that going on. But really, we just went with a shock and awe campaign of social media. We didn't pay for ad spend or anything like that. We just kept it simple. We grew our friends list, and we didn't even focus on Instagram, none of that stuff. For that time, 10 years ago, we were just focused on Facebook. So we would ask permission to share other people's listings and say, I don't represent this listing, right? I'm looking for a buyer. What all that did was it was authentic, but people don't always read the fine print, and they just go like, wow, you're really busy, Mike. And I'm like, not really, I haven't sold a house yet, but I'm not trying to paint the picture that I am overly busy. I'm just trying to share and collaborate with others that there's some listings on the market, right? So that was one way we did it. That was really cost effective. I always challenge people that you should be running like 4 open houses a weekend if you're a newer agent. That is free. That's inexpensive, right? Go find some leads, and those are free leads for you. So do things differently and bigger and better than what others are doing. The last thing that I would suggest is running a budget, right? When that was one of the questions. We spend about 10% of our budget, which is what Ariel and I think maybe Christine had said as well. 10% of our budget goes into marketing. So what was powerful for me is when you get into those larger levels of income and revenue coming in, is how do you break out your money? And I'll just leave one final tip here. What was a game changer for us was implementing the profit first model. There's a book out there on that. Understanding the MREA economic model and putting that together with a CPA that understands real estate, if you put those three pieces together, it'll be game changing for your budgets.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. I'm going to look for that book. That sounds good. Natalia, can you tell us what you do as far as marketing and budgets and that sort of thing?
Sure. I think when it comes to marketing, it can be so overwhelming. And I don't know about you, but since I've been in the business, I found that I had shiny object syndrome, right? Always looking for the next best thing and how can I do this and how can I do that? But really, just like Mike said before, is like getting back to keeping it simple. So there's lots of ways you can do marketing without having to spend a lot of money. If you're a new agent or you're growing your business and you don't have a huge budget to be spending on marketing, like there's so many things you can do. Go and ask someone who has a listing if you can do their open house. Now you can market that listing. You have an opportunity to meet people, and it's not going to cost you anything, right? You can go to local events, network. Even just being very active on your social media, like all these things are free. So you don't need to spend a lot of money on them. And I think we tend to put a lot of emphasis on spending money for ads and for lead gen and all that, when there's other ways to find clients and to make those connections, even agent to agent referrals, right? So, but if you do want to get to that next step where you want to pay for leads, you can start off by, with a small budget, even $400 a month, and you start to get leads. However, you have to call those leads. You have to follow up with them. So I think when it comes to marketing, it really depends on you and your style, because in real estate, it's not just like one size fits all. You're going to do what you resonate more towards, right? So, as far as a budget goes, it really depends on the month. I've tried lots of different things and just, I stick with what I feel like what works for me. I've done the mail outs. That's a big commitment. Haven't really seen a big return on that. I've done the paid ads on social, and those seem to be well. So paying for ads on social media can be a very inexpensive way to market a property or to get some online leads. So but at the end of the day, whatever it is you decide to do, it's always so important to look back and see what the ROI is on that, and if it's something that you want to continue with in your business. But I just want to encourage everyone to try and stay away from that shiny object syndrome, because there will always be something new and there will always be something to distract you. So pick one or two things and stick with them. Be consistent. That's really what it comes to at the end of the day, is consistency.
Thank you, Natalia. I appreciate that. Shiny objects. I think we probably all have been influenced by that. So maybe I'll stick with you, Natalia, and ask you this question. What type, you've already answered some of this and everyone already has, but what type of lead sources have you used? You said something about social. Who do you hire and what's it cost and what do they provide? Or have you used other, you didn't like farming or mailers or that sort of thing, but what other things are you doing? And then in addition, how do you follow up on the leads? So if you're on internet leads, you have to follow up on a bunch to get a client. So how do you do that? Fill us in on what you do.
Okay, so that's the thing. I know I've wasted a lot of money on leads that I never called. So I thought it was a good idea. And, just like every other time I've been distracted by a shiny object, I was like, yeah, I'm going to pay for leads and I'm going to get all this business, but I just couldn't call them. Like there was just something inside me that wouldn't allow it. So I just was burning through money. So I just made a decision I've hired a ISA, so an independent sales associate or assistant. So they call my leads now. So that's been a really helpful, it's very new for me. I'm sure some of the other agents here are doing that as well. But, that's not for everybody, right? Like, especially if you're just starting out, like you're not going to hire someone to call your leads. I know there's services out there that will do that for you. But in terms of leads, I do a lot of social media ads, so I get leads from that. And then again, my assistant will call them. But I'm not calling anyone. It's not until I have that appointment where I'll meet them face to face, because I'm much better in person. I like to meet people, look them in the eyes, like really get a sense to see if it's a good relationship, if it will be a good relationship or partnership. So I don't know if that's answered your question or not, but
Yes, it does. I appreciate that. So be careful. Don't waste money on leads that you won't follow up on.
Exactly.
Yes, I appreciate that. Mike, can you add anything to that? Also, as I go through, Mike and the others, have you used any of the EXP lead generation things, and or there's follow-up systems too. EXP offers a follow-up system for a per price per lead type thing. So if you have, add that as well and tell us how it works or what you would suggest, and kind of point these people to the direction that you would suggest maybe they get leads and money and income and clients.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't recall the first question. I was too busy chatting on the chat. So I'm going to go with the latter part of what you just asked is, for me, it's about letting your revenue drive your financial expenditure decisions, right? Too many times you get sold on the, hey, it's just one deal, right? It's just one deal. Well, if you don't have the money up front to pay for that, I'm going to challenge you to do the free lead generation first, right? So for us, again, we're mostly around the sphere. So we have a 53 touch plan that we have an operations team that engages on behalf of our clients, our agent partners, but yet the agent partners have to still maintain the relationship. You can never have just a third party constantly touching your sphere without some interaction by the agent who really has the relationship. What we found in some research is that, or others' research is, if you're not having a conversation or a touch or a reach out every 17 days with somebody that's in your sphere, you're probably not going to be top of mind. So the question is, how do you execute a plan that is not overwhelming to where you're in conversation? That could be a message on Facebook. That could be your operations team sending out a postcard. That could just be you putting a newsletter out there on the website or on your Facebook. Like, there's got to be a way to touch your database every 17 days is what we've heard and seen some research on. So I don't know if that's helpful or beneficial, but it's about trying to keep it simple and find techniques. So at the end of each year, we build out a 53 touch campaign just for our database that goes into effect January 1st through December. We roll that out to our agent partners so that they can seamlessly execute on it. Some of that could be videos that they're shooting and posting on Facebook. Some of it's text messages to their clients, so on and so forth. Commissions Inc. is a service and a tool that we've used for 8 or 9 years, but that is a much more complex game than I think a lot of people fully understand when they first get into it. You have to have systems, you have to have high accountability, and you have to have high standards around it, or else it's just not going to be effective. So hopefully I touched on your question, Tim.
You did, Mike. Thank you. Christine, do you need me to repeat the question?
I don't think so. I think you're asking about who we use and how we keep in touch and how we follow up, yeah?
Yeah, and I heard realtor.com for you, and you might go deeper in that and or add other things that you do as well.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I do a lot. I do pay for a lot of leads. Like I said, I do an ROI look over every quarter with my director of operations, and we'll move funds move budget from one to the other. But I do realtor.com, OpCity, Effective Agent, Street Text, Ideal Agent. I do quite a few because I have a lot of agents on my team, and how we actually, they will round robin to my team. I have tiers of agents depending on their experience and their production. So the more expensive leads will go to my tier 4 agents. But anybody that doesn't pick up, it goes to the next person. If it doesn't pick up, it goes to the next person. And then ultimately it will drop into what we call the pond on InShine, which is my database, my CRM. And my agents, any day they want, they don't have anybody to be working with, they could go fish. They can go into the pond and fish. So we have thousands and thousands of people in there for them always to stay in touch with. And much like Mike said, I think it's really just important that you stay top of mind. So we host a lot of events. We have an Easter Bunny coming for pictures at the end of March. And so that gives everybody on the team an opportunity to send them an invite, text them an invite, next week, social media them an invite, and then call them. And truthfully, this is going to sound awful, but I don't care if they show up or not. I just love that we get to touch them 6 times per event, right? So it's staying top of mind. We do something probably every other month, even on Donut Day, we'll have donuts at the office and invite all the people in our sphere to swing on by. I too have an office space an EXP office. So we invite all the people to swing by and grab donuts. So lots of touches, lots of staying top of mind, lots of providing value, lots of reasons to reach out. That's not just asking for business. And I think that's a fun way to do it. My clients or my agents would much rather reach out and invite their client to a wine tasting party than to call and say, hey, who do you know that wants to buy or sell? And both of those end up getting the same result. Does that answer your question, Tim?
That does. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So how do you get the photos to the people that come for the Easter Bunny thing? How do you manage that? Real quick.
I know, it's great. By the way, we do a puppy Halloween puppy contest too. And even people walking by the park that we don't know that have a dog, we're like, sign in, put your name here, come take a photo, and we'll email it to you. So we literally email them the soft copy, or they can swing by the office again and pick up a hard copy. We'll put it in a frame for them. So again, it's one more touch, right? Giving them the photos afterwards.
That is awesome. Yes. Hey, Ariel, I know you're into relationships and other things, but expand on what you do and how you do it and how we could get more leads or where you go. And have you used any follow-up systems to follow up on the leads once you get them?
I got to tell you, that was genius, Christine, with the with the pad and sign in for the picture. I absolutely loved it. I'm taking a lot of notes. Mike, I am going to send you an email about your 53 touches. So I'm learning here as I'm listening to you guys as well. We use KB Core. I have a team setting within KB Core that I pay an extra fee for. So for top of mind, we use KB Core a lot. And I do always recommend to my agent partners, including myself, we send out a Christmas gift at the end of the year. We're definitely doing things for the community. We did Habitat for Humanity. We built a house about 2 years ago. Last year we did US Hunger. So we're always doing things that to stay in touch with the community. And as far as lead gen, I am now tapping into a resource called roomview.com. I'll put it on the chat, where they do your social media managing in terms of videos. But they also, you can also buy leads through them, through that software, or advertise on your social media, which will generate leads for you. I do Obsidian as well, and I tell my agent partners to sign up. Ojo is another one, OJO. And obviously, I push a lot to do open houses. I love that, Mike. In terms of staying top of mind, I guess the statistics show 17 days. I have to do a better job on that for sure. I do a market report every 30 days through KB Core. And obviously, I would say every quarter I call them or send them a text. Now, we have been doing call nights every Wednesday for our sphere. I think this year, 2023, is going to be a very important year for strengthening your relationships. The last 2 years, it was much easier to get to where we are. This year is going to be back to what 2017, 18, 19 looked like, which is a lot of calls, a lot of relationship making activities. So we'll be doing a lot of that. And for those of you, some of you guys may want to cover your ear. I think I'm going to give it a try. Zillow Premier Agent. I'm going to give it a try. I know a lot of us have mixed feelings about Zillow, but I think they're now catering back to us because of us. We all know why. So I am going to give that a try and see how it goes. And more than likely, we'll set it up as a team setting as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Ariel. I appreciate that. let's stick with you. And also, I wanted to ask, we're in a changing market. What are you doing differently this year than you did last year? And if someone's if your business or someone's business is falling behind, what do you recommend that they do, or what do you do for a booster?
Okay, so great question. Number one, as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, the key to having a great 2023 is going to get off of your comfort zone and don't procrastinate and actually have conversations with people. The more people you talk to, whether they are leads you're buying, friends, family, the people at the store, the pool guy, the one that does your landscaping, your lawyer, your CPA, the more people you talk to, the more opportunities you're going to have, and the more closings you're going to have. If we are expecting for the business to come to us, that is not what general sales is all about. General sales is you got to go get it. You got to go fishing, on that pond that Christine was talking about. You have to go get it. So yeah, whenever I have accountability meetings with some of my agent partners, or they feel like they're struggling, I go back to like, hey, we had an action plan. You had to follow 4 steps. Where are you on them? And I can tell you, I would say 50 to 60% of the time, half of it is done, the other half is not. And we are not employees. We are independent contractors. So it's really up to you as an individual agent to make it or break it. You would do it for an employer. Why wouldn't you do it for your own business? So yeah, that would be. I'm not from the military, but I'm very Marine or Army like when it comes to holding people accountable with a very nice diplomatic way, but still, hey, what are you doing here? Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do that? I think Soledad said, do you send a newsletter via KB Core, or do you use a separate system? I do not use KB Core for newsletter. I do market reports through KB Core. I would recommend using Constant Contact for newsletter. Andy said, I'm ex-Army. We didn't use diplomacy.
Thanks, Ariel. I was just writing that down. Constant Contact for a newsletter. Thank you. I've been making so many notes. Man, there's so many golden nuggets in this meeting today. So, Christine, do you recall the question, or do you want me to repeat it?
Wait, I think I already answered this question though, right? About our lead sources and follow-up?
Oh, yes. Okay, so we're on to a new question. Sorry.
New question. I'm ready. No worries.
Yeah, so I was reading it. I thought I said it, but I was writing notes so frantically. So what are you, let's see. No, actually, isn't this a new question? What are you doing differently this year than last year to improve the numbers? Yes. And when your business is falling behind, what do you do for a booster?
Oh, all right. Let's see. When business is falling behind, what do we do for a booster? We have something called the 15th protocol. I believe it's a KW thing I stole and brought with me. But the 15th protocol is, we do where we're at Wednesdays on our huddle, and everybody knows their monthly goal and where they're at for the month. And we look at where we're at as a team. And the 15th protocol means mid-month on day 15, if you're not halfway to your goal, you stop everything and you put into place what's called the 15th protocol. And it's usually doubling up on your lead gen, doubling up on your open houses, doubling up on your conversations. So for example, in February, we had a slow January. I don't know how everybody else did, but we had a slow January. So in February, we took on a contest called Talk to 10 Live Humans a Day Before Your Head Hits the Pillow. So everybody on the team is talking to 10 people live that didn't know they were in real estate that morning, and they will know they're in real estate before their head hits the pillow. So we play a lot of games like that. We put into play contests. We put into play the 15th protocol. We'll have other contests for open houses. My team will sit there on a Wednesday afternoon in a busy street on a house that's for sale, maybe across the street from a school. And they'll put out all their signs and all their balloons and just be sitting there doing their follow-up on their email or whatever it is that they're doing that day. You might as well do it while you're sitting in an open house. It's an opportunity to meet more people. So those are the types of games we play to really up our game and to hedge our bets going into 2023.
Perfect. Thank you, Christine. Mike, do you care to add to that?
Yeah, I'll throw a couple of things out there. I think for us, it's about knowing your numbers. That's what Christine kind of talked about is, one, you're going to have to increase your skills. That's just a flat reality. I am also honestly super excited about a little bit of a market shift because in the past, it was like anybody could just sell a house. And so your competition levels were so friggin' high that like anybody could just walk in and make it happen. Now, there's an opportunity of a lifetime here to differentiate yourself that maybe you didn't have that opportunity over the last couple of years. So for me, it's a mindset thing to say this is an opportunity that we didn't have the last couple of years. For me, it's knowing your conversions. Like, how do I know how many contacts I need to make based on how many appointments I've set, based on how many agents I've signed? I need to know my numbers. If I'm just out there haphazardly saying, I think I need one appointment a week to get to my goal of 22 closings, I don't know, right? Is that gonna be your answer? So I'm gonna type something in the chat, but there's a conversion ratio here that is typically the number of contacts it takes to get to a lead to the number of leads that you need to get to a closing. And this is kind of a study that was done across tens of thousands of transactions. So if you guys are interested in that, I'd be happy to kind of put that in there. And it's just a formula that you can use to really know your business and know exactly what it's going to take. When an agent looks to kind of partner with us, I take them down this path of, I appreciate you want to net $100,000 this year. However, do you know what that means? Like, it's easy to say I want to make 100, but do you know how many appointments you need to make, how many contacts you need to make, how many hours a day you're going to have to lead gen? That's a new self-discovery for them once we kind of go through that. So I'll leave it at that.
Thanks, Mike. Natalia, do you care to add to that?
Sure, I'll add a couple things. So I think it depends on how you want to run your business, right? Like, again, a lot of my business is my sphere, my community, repeat and referrals. So before hiring an ISA, I still do this because I feel like that's a separate entity to my business. But, if I'm always checking in with myself, like, where am I? What do I need to improve on? If I'm stuck on something, and I'm always learning. Like, I don't feel like we should ever feel like we know it all, because we don't, and we never will. So always be open to learning and improving your skills, right? So even though I've been in the business for, like I said, going on to my 8th year, I'm still revisiting the things that I do, and I'm always making them better. And I'm always keeping in contact with my past clients. So all of that never changed, even though the past couple of years have been insane for business. The way I structured my business didn't change. I didn't cheap out on anything. I still did the same things for all of my listings and my purchases that I would to this day. So, a lot of agents weren't doing all of that. So it just really comes down to being consistent. If I can leave you with one thing, it's whatever you decide to do, just be consistent at it, because that is really the key to any success, is consistency.
Thank you, Natalia. I have more questions that I could ask you, but we're getting close to the end of this, and I want to reach out into the audience and see if there's any questions. If anyone wants to type in to the chat, some of the questions I might have asked is, what do you do for investments? I mean, for me, selling real estate is great. I love it. I make a decent income, and that excess money that I make from there funds my investments, which is passive income. So that way I don't have to work so hard in the future. I can own assets that are paying me not to get up in the morning. So I like that a lot. Another one would be coaching and mentoring. Do you do any of that? And more. But is there anyone in the audience that has a question? I'm not seeing any. So why don't we go to coaching or mentoring or investments? why don't we just open it up? Who would like to go and tell us what they're investing in? Are they creating passive income or anything like that? Or lean into coaching and mentoring and how you lean into others to better your business? Who would like to go first? Any of the icon lists?
I'll jump in, Tim. It's Christine.
Thank you. Thanks,
Yeah.
Christine.
Mentoring coaching is kind of my jam. I love it. That's my favorite thing, is taking agents and turning them into icon agents. So we, like I mentioned, we do a huddle every morning, 8 to 8:30. My team really loves it because it's a hard start to the day. And they always say, if we didn't do this, I might not roll into that mode until, 9:30 or whatever. So I like having those masterminds. I love really, even teaching my team. I have an agent who's been with me for 5.5 years now on the team, and she loves contributing. So she started opening up Zoom line masterminds for agents from all over the country, just to empower them and coach them and be available to them. So I think it's a really great way especially if you're here at EXP looking to build your organization. I think I'm going into my third year, and I've got 111 people in my organization now. So near where I want to be, but pretty happy about it anyway. I do that almost 100% from exactly this, from coaching people, from being available, from being a mentor, from making yourself available to people and providing value. And it's not like you have to have a formal setting. You really just can be someone who's always, always, always willing to be there and willing to contribute and willing to provide value to all the agents that you come across that ask you for anything. I think it really is a synergistic relationship that you start to build with agents at other brokerages as well.
Great. Thank you, Christine. Anyone else care to mention, comment on coaching, mentoring, who you've coached with or how you coach others, or mentoring same, or investments?
Sure, I can go out there with it. So I was certified with the previous brokerage as a coach. And so, if you're looking for a coach, my opinion on it is it a business relationship type coach? You need somebody like Ariel said. I respected that. He's like, I'm kind of marine mentality. Like, it doesn't mean you have to be a jerk. Of course, I'm not suggesting that that's why Ariel runs it, but it's accountability. It's no BS. It's like you want to be an elite realtor, like an elite athlete. You've got to have somebody that's willing to hold you accountable out of pure passion and love, right? So they see greater things in you perhaps than you see in yourself. And that's their job, is to pull that out of you and make you great, right? However you define great, of course, right? We're all different, and we don't all have to do 200 units. That may not be all of our passions, right? So making you great for where you want to be in your business. So to me, that's the coach that I'm looking for, is not necessarily a friend, but somebody who wants to work with me to make me the best person that I can, both in my personal life, but in my business life.
Thank you, Mike. I like that. Coaching and keeping accountable with love. That's great. I haven't heard that before. So anyone else care to comment on those topics? Or how about another one? If you had a bad client, what do you do? They can suck the energy right out of you.
I'll go with that one.
Okay, thank you, Ariel.
You gotta love the energy vampires out there. If you have a bad client, I tend to look for a solution first. Maybe there's another team member that they can be assigned to that perhaps can have a better chemistry with them, and obviously the agent that brought over the client, they can maybe get a referral fee or whatnot. So we try to fix it in house before we let go of the client. But there have been situations where, it doesn't matter how much you try. The client just has bad energy, and just like what we call them, energy vampires, then we may have to let them go, and tell them we're not a good fit and we wish you the best. So yeah, we do that occasionally. In terms of investments out there, I do strongly recommend that everyone here at some point start investing in real estate. I own residential and I own commercial. By no means do I have a lot of it. I'm actually concentrating on paying off my house this year, and then I'll be buying probably 2 or 3 long-term rentals. That's my goal there. So yeah, and as far as coaching, try to definitely have someone that will hold you accountable, whether that be a coach that you're assigned to or that you hired, or I do have coaches within my team. So every new agent gets a coach that is going to hold them accountable and not only go through a curriculum, but hold their hand on the first two transactions. And so, but even for myself, I do seek always, mentors that I have in my life and people that have been helpful to me. And I do occasionally, have meetings with people like John Chaplek or Ricky Caruth and whatnot that would take my business to the next level. So I'm always listening to them, always kind of putting in place things that I think will work for my team. So be open to suggestions. Doesn't matter how big you are, how successful you are, or whether you're new or not. Everyone's gonna give you their 2 cents. Everyone's gonna give you their opinion. You're gonna have to formulate one that would work for you and stick with it. Be very, very disciplined with it, like Natalia said earlier.
Thank you, Ariel. Energy vampires. Oh my gosh, isn't that true? We have time. The time is right there. We have time for one more icon comment. It could be a bad client. It could be something else I missed. Is there an icon on the panel that would like to finish it up and tell us one last thing?
I'll jump in here if nobody else wants to speak.
Perfect. Thanks.
Okay. I think when it comes to having a bad or difficult client, and I mean, that can change at any time, and I've definitely experienced this myself. But that's why it's so important for you as a realtor to keep notes, make sure everything is in writing. Okay, regardless if it's good, bad, and ugly, whatever, just be very thorough with that, because if you're working with someone and then things go sideways, and you just never know. So it's just really important to do that. And just remember that you don't have to work with everyone. That's the beauty of this business. Yes, you're not going to get that money, but at the end of the day, that energy and time you've wasted on someone who's you can guarantee is going to take up all of your time and energy and just put you in a bad space. You could use that to go and find another client who's going to, respect you and all of that. So don't be afraid to not work with someone. That's huge. Okay. You're never that desperate to stoop down to a level that's not, what you're interested in. And I was going to say something else. Darn, I forget. Anyways, hope that helps.
That does. Thank you. We're right there at the end. So I want to ask anyone in the audience to make a note of the icons on stage. They're in different markets, and we all love referrals. So if you have a client in need, come in to any one of the icons areas, keep them in mind. And we appreciate you being here. And thank you, Natalia, Mike, Christine, and Ariel. It's been such a pleasure.
Thanks,